y'all doing? Oh, hopefully that's not too loud. Alright. Let me know if that's too loud, you guys. Just, feeling a little out of it today. I, kind of like, you know, with those days where you kind of, like, wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and you, like, you know, lay in bed just a little bit too long, and you're like, it's gonna be one of those days, huh? You know what I mean? That's the kind of day I'm having today. Let me see who's all up in the chat. Looks like we've got Bo Falcon, and we've got Sam Dunn, we've got Rebecca. Glad to have you guys in here. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I've just been in a weird mindset today. Really out of it. This has been a pretty interesting week for me this week. A lot of weird things going on in my life at the moment. Just, you know, trying to, like, I'm, like, reflecting on them and, like, trying to figure out whether or not I want to, like, whether it's, like, is it okay to talk about some of this stuff? Is it not okay? I don't know. Yeah, I've just been kind of, really out of it these last few days, and I've been trying to, work my way through it. I tend to be a kind of person that when I get really upset or stressed out about, like, certain kinds of things in my life, whether personal or whatever, I like to throw myself into work or hobby or, you know, something. I like to be productive when I'm really stressed out or upset or angry or whatever. And so, like, I've been kind of, like, experimenting with things that I'm doing on my channel and producing different kinds of content to the best of my ability. And a lot of that is because that's kind of, like, what I've been wanting to do for a while, and because I've been kind of in this weird mindset these last few days, I've been really wanting to dive really deep into everything I can to make my channel more productive and to make, you know, the things I do on my channel more, you know, like, fruitful and feel like that it's, you know, valuable and, you know, I was gonna say worth my time, but it always feels like it's worth my time, but it's just sometimes I feel like that it's not as valuable and productive as it should be, so I try really hard to kind of make it more so that way. And I've been having to kind of take on a lot of new tasks and responsibilities and learning lots of new things that I'm not 100% familiar with to kind of get that edge in all the stuff that I'm trying to do. Hey DLG, good to see you in here. Don't forget that the most cuddly worm that you know. Glad to have you in here, buddy. I really appreciate you. Unload what you want. Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks, Rebecca. You guys are really awesome. It was really funny because today I was, you know, this is my nice comfy couch and I do love it. And I was laying back on this couch today and I was debating. I was like, you know, maybe I'll just kind of, like, take a sick day and just, like, not do anything. I mean, I did have a plan to kind of do something no matter what. I've been, like I said, as you guys can see, I'm trying to upload videos, and what's really nice about, you know, getting into the cycle of producing videos and everything like that is that I can actually have some things prepared ahead of time, and that way, if I feel like that I don't want to do something today, then it's like, well, at least I still produce something because I have the video ready to go and ready to be enjoyed. Doesn't seem like the videos are doing too fantastic, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. And I know that it was really funny because, you know, I am aware that the first couple of videos are not super eventful because of the time constraints that they run under. They are shorter videos, and that is intentional and on purpose. But there's some good stuff coming up in that little video series I'm doing. I promise. I promise you guys. I promise. And I had some other interesting video ideas that I wanted to test out. I actually kind of hope that Cinder Shadow eventually shows up in here, because I had a really kind of funny idea for a video that doesn't need, like, it's not that I want Cinder Shadow in it, but it's my idea for the video that I want to do is taking something that Cinder Shadow has done and kind of like flipping it on its head. So it's like a like, I had this really funny idea on the day that he released a particular video, and I was like, I want to take your video and, like, completely show the complete opposite spectrum of everything you just talked about. And so I kind of really want to do that for a video, and I think I might just do it whether he's okay with it or not, but knowing him, he'll probably be okay with it whether I do it or not, and but I would kind of like to pass the idea on to him and see what he thinks, just to kind of bounce it off of his head and see what he thinks. If you guys are wanting to know, so Cinder Shadow did a video a few days ago that says, I think it's called, like, Why I Play Magic, like, Why I Still Play Magic or something like that, and I watched it. And when I was watching it, I came up with the idea of, I want to make a video that is literally his same title, but it says Why I Don't Still Play Magic, and just, like, come up with a bunch of, like, counterpoints to everything that he's talking about, or, like, maybe not every exact specific topic, because he goes over a lot of topics in that video, but I thought it would be fun to kind of have, like, an antithesis, I think I'm using that word correctly, an antithesis to his video. I thought that would be really funny, so that might be something I'll be doing, but I'm not sure yet. Depends how I feel and how comfortable I am with it. It will take time, but they'll take off. Well, I appreciate that, Rebecca. I really do. Yeah, it's just, I know that a lot of, like, and a part of it, too, is I've kind of unintentionally built myself into, like, this channel where people expect me to stream. And I get that, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm not planning to stop streaming. I love streaming. I enjoy it. It's, you know, what I started this channel with, really. And I still really enjoy it, and I'm constantly making improvements, and I have a great time, and I love conversing with you guys. But I also want to actually produce, like, video content that is more digestible to people who don't have the time to sit around for an hour or two. And that's something I really want to kind of open up my channel to. I really want to kind of prove that I can create content that doesn't need, you know, 1 to 2 hours to absorb. And that's why I'm really making this major headway into, like, I need to start producing videos. I need to actually, like, make effort into that, and I need to start teaching myself editing. And the videos that I'm producing right now are very simplistic. They basically require little to no editing at the moment, which is very convenient, and I did that on purpose. I picked the game that I picked to start off with because I knew that it was going to be simple to deal with when producing videos. And however, I also made a promise to myself that the next video series that I want to do will probably be a lot more challenging, especially editing-wise. I have some ideas of what I want to do. And I've kind of hinted at it here and there. I have a few different games and a few different kinds of videos that I want to make that will probably require me to really have to get more hands-on with the editing. But for right now, I'm just testing the waters with this little miniature game series I'm doing. And I'm not super worried. It's not like it has to be this instantaneous success. That's not what I'm looking for. All I'm looking for is people being receptive to the idea that I can also make videos, rather than just an hour to 2 hour long streams all the time. Bo Falcon says, is that Jigglypuff in the background staring at me? Absolutely. My little jiggly friend. My little jiggly friend. Yeah, he's cute. It was very small. Probably since I was, like, maybe 10 or 11 years old or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I've had that thing for a long time. A lot of these things I have in the background have been in my life for an incredibly long time. I would actually say that the newest things that are on the rack are this little creeper doll. I've only had that within the last, like, few months. And there's a box, an unopened box of Force of Will over here. And I've had that for maybe about a year or so. And I guess little Rem up here is relatively new too. She's about a year or two old as well. But all the rest of the stuff, all the other merch I have here, I've literally had for probably over a decade or so. But I love my little merch shelf that I got here. I have my base set 2 Charizard, foil Charizard, and I have my dragon waifu, Miss Palladia Moores, who I've had since I was a young teenager. Yeah, it's just all my cool stuff that I love so much. It makes me happy and keeps me happy. It's reading your mind and discovering all of your secrets, absolutely. It's definitely kind of creepy. Like, I love it how creepy it is. Creepy little Jigglypuff. He's a little beanbag doll. Looks like I must have torn the tag off of it, because it doesn't have a tag, so I don't know if this is actually an official Nintendo product or not, but it's very cool. I do like it a lot. Don't even remember how I got it. But yeah, lots of fun little things up there kind of hanging out. Oh, little Ash Ketchum is fallen over. I have this dinky little Ash Ketchum, and it is like the most unstable Pokemon merch I have up there, and it just falls over all the time. Drives me insane. Oh, hey, Jabin! Good to see you, buddy. Glad to have you in here, homie. I really, man, Jabin, I gotta say, you were such a good friend, dude. You were like the one main dude who always, likes my posts, of all my videos and streams and shares it on Facebook and stuff, and I super appreciate that, homie. I am kind of trying to get my material out, on Facebook, and, guys, I might be doing something terrifying and horrific. I was debating yesterday, and I also thought about it a bit today. I might try to start up I do have a Twitter account. I just pretty much never use it, and I'm thinking that I might try to transform my old Twitter account into a place where I can kind of share my content a bit more. Now, I know that's really scary because Twitter's really scary and I'm scared of Twitter. But yeah, I might do that soon just to have that, that toe in the water, that thumb in the pie. And it seems like that also there's a lot of content creators that use Twitter very, very constructively for their content. And that's why I think I might need to get into it whether I want to or not. Jigglypuff watches us and all judges us hardly. That's so funny. What's in the box? I've actually shown it before, I think, on a stream. But yeah, it's this thing is really cool. I love this thing. Gotta be kind of careful with it. So this is an old collectible that I got a long time ago at a anime expo. In fact, the guy in the chat, Jabin, he was at the Anime Expo where I bought this. This is the Final Fantasy Master Creatures Series 2, Matis the Corrupt from Final Fantasy 12. So it might be kind of hard to see in the plastic, but it's a collectible, so I don't open it, and I love it. It's mint in the box. And also, the way that it's displayed in the box looks really cool, so I don't really want to mess with it too much. So Matis the Corrupt is a summonable character in Final Fantasy XII, and I love the summonable characters in Final Fantasy XII. My favorite is Kuklain, but they don't have a collectible figurine of Kuklain. But they had Matis the Corrupt, which is another one of my favorites. And Matis the Corrupt was basically the idea is that Matis is a demon lord. And the whole story is that Matis the Demon Lord used his body to imprison the ice goddess Shiva from Final Fantasy. And the ice goddess Shiva is actually in a whole bunch of the different Final Fantasy games. But they went with the idea, they gave all this really deep lore on the character. Basically, Matis the Corrupt, who was this really super powerful demon lord, basically decided, I'm gonna do the craziest evil thing that I could possibly think of. I'm gonna turn my body into a prison for an ice goddess. And so basically he captured Shiva, the ice goddess, and absorbed her power. And basically the whole concept is that Matus feeds off of the power of the ice goddess Shiva, and also is able to manipulate her goddess ice powers to his own will, which is really cool. So yeah, that's what this is. It's a Final Fantasy XII collectible figurine, and for anybody who doesn't know, even though I know that there's a lot of controversy about it, and there's a lot of people who would very happily and comfortably disagree with me, I would say that Final Fantasy XII is probably one of my favorite Final Fantasy games of all time. So I love it. I love Final Fantasy XII, and I don't care what anybody says. It's one of my favorites of all time. Box is really shiny. Yeah, it does look kind of nice, doesn't it? I just like it. I don't know. And I've never felt like... Because normally, like, as you can see with Rem here, I do have, like, figures that I take out of boxes. And I've had a large collection of figurines that I've taken out of boxes. But for some reason, specifically, I think it's because of how well designed they did the boxing for the figure, the Matus the Corrupt figure. Because you could see inside of it so clearly, and it's all, like, on display inside the box. And because of that, I've never really wanted to take it out of the box, and I feel like that the box is, in that particular way, contributing to the figurine itself. So, yeah, I really like it a lot, and it's been with me for a long time. The box is a bit dusty, but overall in really good condition by the looks of it. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is like, I don't know if it's valuable, because I've never cared. It might be, I don't know. But like I said, like, the whole thing of, like, not taking it out of the box, that's not to, like, preserve its quote-unquote value or whatever. It's literally, like, no joke, the reason why I keep it in the box is because, like, when you see the box and, like, how the figure is displayed inside of the box, you can tell that the box is designed to, like, be a part of owning the figurine. Like, it's like, yes, the figurine is inside, it looks really nice, it has, like, a little kind of, like, display stand and all that, but with the way that there's, like, windows on the box and you can look at it from, like, any angle and all that, and the way that it's just really, like, the box itself is really well designed. So there's not really any reason for me to want to take it out of the box, because it's, like, part of the overall figurine display, I guess. But yeah, so that's, you know, another cool little thing that I've had for a pretty long time. God, I don't even remember what year that was. That was the, I actually had a video on my channel of me at the Anime Expo where I bought that, that collectible. I took that video down. It doesn't exist on my channel anymore. But yeah, there was an old video that I used to have on my channel, like, a long time ago. You know what? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see here. Taking a look to see if I still have it. Because I didn't delete it off of the channel. It's just kind of hidden. It's like, it's set up so that people are not allowed to view it anymore. And the reason why is because when I was actually starting to get into producing content on my channel, I had a couple of content creators who were basically like, hey, you know, like, you have all these random videos and they kind of, like, are, like, weird and don't fit in with what you're doing. Maybe you should think about removing them. And I was like, okay, that sounds fine. Yeah, so there's a 38-second video here called me, it says, hold on, what is the full title here? I think it says me dancing to bad music with some anime nerds. And it says, the description says, dancing at the Sacramento Anime Convention 2008. Yeah, that's a really old video. Goodness gracious. And I have some other great, like, there's actually, oh my god, so, I actually also have a video in here with the guy who's in the chat log right now, Jabin Toman. There's actually a 4-second video clip of him doing a stupid little skit on my channel where it's his voice and he's holding like a little Master Chief helmet. it's in one of our friends' old houses, and he's got the helmet right in front of the camera, and it's a 4-second video. 4-second video. And it's just his voice. He's like, it says, it's Master Chief's important message. And it's just him holding the helmet. It's like, hey, you! Fuck you! And he like runs off. It's so stupid, but I love it. And then there's like a minute and 30-second video of me being weird and crazy, like a crazy man, wearing a shirt that is way too small. Way too small. I bought a shirt. Oh my god, you guys. I bought this shirt. I remember this stupid shirt. I bought this shirt of like one of my favorite bands, and I bought it at like, I didn't even buy it at a concert. I bought it at a goddamn Hot Topic, you guys. I bought this really shitty band t-shirt at a frickin' Hot Topic, and it's way too tight. I remember wearing that thing multiple times, and I wore it because it was my favorite band at the time. And I hated that shirt, but I wore it because it was my favorite band, and that was the only reason. And I remember it would just clench on my chest, and my arm, like, the sleeves were, like, riding up on my armpits. And it was the most goddamn uncomfortable shirt, but I wore it all the time, and I have no idea why I always forced myself to wear it. And, oh god, there was a whole video with me in that super obnoxiously tight band t-shirt from Hot Topic. And I just did a video where I was just acting like a maniac. And like, because I remember, because it was my good friend, I think it was G Gamer. Like I said, when you guys see, you know, Jabin Toman or G Gamer come into the chat log, those are my childhood friends, you guys. Those are my friends from my childhood. And we did actually, for a period of time, used to do really ridiculous videos. Some of them made them onto my channel, which are the ones I'm talking about. But a lot of them would end up on G Gamer's original YouTube account. But I don't think that that's the one that he's using anymore, so I don't really know. But yeah, I think it was him recording, and he just grabbed a camera, and he was just like, hey dude, I'm recording. And I just started acting like a maniac right in front of the camera for no goddamn reason. Because I was a wild, crazy teenager that didn't give a shit about what anybody thought. And I was even excited about the idea of it being put on my channel and people viewing it and things like that. Sorry, I need a little bit of water there. Let's see. After an extended period of time, packaging like that tends to get tattered and torn. Having it pristine like that definitely adds to the value. Yeah, I mean, I've taken pretty good care of it. You know, I've never really piled it, like, I've never had other boxes and things piled on top of it or anything like that. I always tried to be really careful with it because I always really liked it, you know? And the reason why it's so dusty is because it's doing what I basically always have it doing, which is it's sitting out on display. And even before I had it in the background shelf here, I used to have it over there on my art table, which you guys have never actually seen. And I don't think you guys will ever see my art table. It's a big mess. Got a lot of crap on it. It's got some cool things on it. Like I have like my full-size painting easel. And I have a painting that I did. And some other paintings I've collected that are not done by me. And a bunch of books, because in all honesty, guys, I know you guys can't see it, but I have books everywhere, you guys. I have so many books. I read way too much, which is funny because when I was younger, I was not much of a book reader at all. I didn't become a heavy book reader until I was a young adult, like in college. That's when I started reading lots and lots of books, and I just started having my nose in books all the time. So I have a lot of books in my house, and also the amount of books that I have in my house now are also not anywhere close to the amount of books I used to have when I lived in California. But yeah, I have lots of books. I collect a variety of different kinds of antiques. Also on my art table, I have some of the very nice stuff that I've received in my P.O. box from some of my fans. I can actually see Wrath of Wood's letter over there on display, which I really like. And also, right in my field of vision, I can also see the Geist of St. Taft that your boy Lettuce sent me. And then there's a pack of cards over there that's in like a fangled... master set box, which is kind of cool. I can't remember if that was Wrath of Wood or if that was somebody else. I think that was Wrath of Wood who sent me that. I think I still have the letter inside the little master pack, so that would probably tell me, but I'm not gonna get up and get it. But yeah, I have a lot of weird things around my apartment. I collect a lot of very strange things. Lots of books, lots of antiques, lots of junk. Figurines and cards and things like that, obviously. Let's see. Rutherwood says, that stuff reminds me of when I would hang out at the mall in Chinatown. So many collectibles from so many crazy franchises. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing, too, is because, like, me and my friends back when we lived in California, we used to go to, like, flea markets. They used to have, like, Asian flea markets and stuff like that. And we would just go and buy, like, some of the... Like, sometimes you would find something really cool, but a lot of the time you just find a lot of crap. A lot of crap that is just totally terrible and unnecessary. Lots of knockoffs and things like that, like knockoff things that were just absolutely not worth your time, but for some reason you still found yourself digging in your wallet for, like, 4 quarters and a nickel to buy that knockoff, like, Pokemon merch or something like that, A fan of the Ultimate Wedgie, Miss Rebecca? Yeah, a lot of people like that video. I'm glad that I left that on my channel, because I didn't want to completely delete all of my old videos, and I thought that would kind of... I don't know, I think that was actually the very first video that I had ever uploaded on the channel, ever. And I don't even think that the video is as old as the actual channel. It's funny because I think I said that the channel was made in 2011, which is not true. That's what I told Fajouk the other day. And I had to realize upon reflecting that is not true. The channel is older than 2011. The reason why I know that the channel is older than 2011 is because the Ultimate Wedgie dates all the way back to 2007. So, yeah. But it is kind of funny. I feel bad because I'm pretty sure that I told Fajouk, because, like, I don't know if you guys know anything about what Fajouk was doing. Fajouk did an interview with me the other day, which was a lot of fun to do. I definitely wanted to do that with him. And he was asking me, I can't remember what the question specifically was, but he basically asked me a question that involved trying to figure out how old my channel was. And I think I told him 2011, and I don't think that's correct. In fact, I'm looking at it now. So my About section in my channel says, joined April 23rd, 2006. Which makes a lot of sense. Let's see... senior year, 8 junior year, 7. Yeah, so I was a freshman in high school when I made this channel. That's so crazy to me. That was so long ago. And then the first video was, what did I say, 2007? That's so crazy. God, it's so weird having a really old channel that I'm currently making material on now, all these years later, and yet, well, I don't know. Well, here we are. It's a very weird thought. Yeah. There were some things that I was thinking about too. I've been kind of in this mood, like I kind of told you guys earlier. I'm like in this. This week has been really weird for me. I had some things that were supposed to go a particular way that I was expecting them to go in one particular way that was going to be really good. And they didn't go that well. They didn't go that well at all. And it was very strange because it was one of those things where, like, I tried really hard to kind of, like, stack everything in my favor, and then it all, like, didn't go right, which really felt really terrible. And my reaction to something like that, like, and it was, you know, it was one particular day where I just had, like, one super bad day, and I wanted to, well, like, I had some other things that were really annoying. I ended up, I think I told you guys that on Valentine's Day, because I talked about it on my Valentine's Day video, my Valentine's Day stream. I ended up finding out that somebody who I thought was a really good friend was actually just very fake and not actually really my friend. And I found that out on Valentine's Day, which was, like, super shitty. And I basically had to do all these things to kind of, like, try and, like, push them out of my life in, like, a single day, which felt really, really shitty. And also, like, doing that stream on Valentine's Day was kind of like a therapeutic thing for me, which is why I was really into the idea of, you know, playing a game about romance and murder on Valentine's Day, especially when I was so frustrated. So that was something that really annoyed me this week, was having to, you know, actively put, and the thing is as far as I'm aware, I don't think they know that I've pushed them out of my life. Like, it's not like I contacted them and gave them a bad time, because, you know, when you have somebody like that in your life and you realize that you have to push them out of your life, you kind of just, like, you don't want to contact them and you don't want to talk with them because you realize what kind of person they are, and you're just like, I'm removing you from my life, which means I don't want to talk to you and I don't want anything to do with you whatsoever. And that was really hard because that also involved me, like, I had a gift from them that I saw every day. It was like, when I get really close with people, like, this is, and guys, like, it's nobody that you guys know. I promise you that. No, none of you guys know who I'm talking about. None of you guys have ever met them. Like, you've never interacted with them. Like, they've never been on my channel watching any of the stuff. As far as I know, they've never been on my channel watching any of my stuff. But there's this person that I was relatively close with, or so I thought. I was really close with them. And they kept, like, kind of giving me this idea every once in a while that, like, we were these people, like, that we were friends that were very close. And so much to a point of where they gave me a gift that I purposely had incorporated into my life in a way where it's like I'm looking at it every single day, all the time. And it's always with me all the time because I thought they were a very good friend. And I was so outraged by realizing how fake they were, and how, when I kind of, like, reflected on, like, how they'd been treating me over the last few years or so, it was like this moment where I woke up and I was like, you know, clearly this is a fake friend, and clearly they're using me for things, and clearly, you know, my friendship with them was a convenience for them. And like I said, it was really awful because I realized that on Valentine's Day, which was the worst feeling ever. And so I basically had to, I replaced that item, like that gift that they gave me, I replaced it, because I can't even look at it without feeling disgusted. Like, that's how bad this was. They literally disgusted me to a point of where I was like, I don't even want to look at this gift that you gave me anymore. I'm going to put it way far away in a box that I basically never ever open, and I'm going to replace it with a completely different item that I'm comfortable with looking at every single day, and I like it because it's something that I actually like and I actually bought for myself, and it's replacing something that I can't stand because I can't stand the idea of you having any involvement in my life whatsoever. And I mean, it's possible that I'm being a little over dramatic about it, but it really felt like it's really hard. Like, I don't want to dox this person, you know, and I feel lucky that they're not heavily involved with my channel, because if they were more heavily involved with my channel, I wouldn't be able to talk about this like this right now in front of you guys. I'm not interested in doxing them, and I feel lucky they're not involved with my channel. But it just was like a real terrible feeling, because I even, like, what was really crazy was I even watched this video recently, because I've been kind of like watching some videos that are all about psychological studies of different kinds of people and yourself and things like that, and just like everyday kind of psychology videos that are like 5 maybe 10 minutes long. And there was this one that just came out recently that was like how to know if somebody is being fake with you. And it's funny because I had realized this person was fake, and then a few days later that video came out and I watched it, and they fit, like, that person that I pushed out of my life had fit every one of those categories of a quote-unquote fake friend. So I was really glad that I pushed that person out of my life, but that was kind of like the first thing that really made me feel pretty terrible this week. And that was not fun. That was not fun, because I actually thought that they were a really good friend. And it sucks because, like, I still have to, like, deal with the fact that, like, I can't help but see things that they're doing, and it makes me feel terrible. Like, just knowing that, there's still a person that is in my daily life, and I have to know that they exist in my daily life. As I don't know if that sounds terrible or not, but yeah, it's not fun, but it made me feel pretty bad. But basically I was like, well, I can overcome that because I still have a lot of good people in my life, and things are going really nicely. But yeah, it just felt really bad. But I was like, okay, well, that's okay, because I'm still, I'll just get more productive. I'll work harder. Like, I'll do more things on my channel. I'll do what I love. I'll keep moving forward and doing what I love doing, and that'll be fine. And then later on in the week, I had a really, really bad day, where it was a day where everything was supposed to be planned out and amazing, and it went so bad. It went so terribly bad. And the thing is, that was the worst part of it, was knowing that the majority of why everything went bad was my fault. Like, I had caused almost all of the problems that made that day go bad. And what was really annoying and terrible about it was that it was like the idea of like where you're trying to, like, do everything right and make everything go right, but no matter where your intentions are and, like, how good, like, you try to do the right thing for that day to be the exact perfect day that you want it to be, it's like the more you try to do it and work on it and make it better, the worse you're making it. And that was what that day was. And by the end of it, I felt like total utter shit. Absolute total utter shit. And but the thing is too is that, like, I couldn't deal with the idea that like yes, I wanted to be mad, and yes, I wanted to be upset, and yes, I wanted to be depressed or whatever, but at the same time I was like, well, but I can't, like, do that. Like, that's not really okay, because I got shit to do, man. Like, I got shit to do. I ain't got time to be all pissed off and depressed and things like that. Like, I got tons of shit I gotta do. So I just kind of, like, powered through it, and I've just been working harder and harder to kind of, like, deal with that, because I find that if I, like, I do have, like, times where I get so sad and depressed where I just, lay around and don't do anything. Like, that is a thing that happens to me. But I also find that a lot of the time, like, that I've been trying to be better about is that, like, if I can dive deeper into whatever I'm working on or whatever I'm doing, then those things that I'm upset about don't bother me as much, you know? So, like, you know, I was really upset about all the stuff that happened, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just work on this video, or I'll do this gameplay, or I'll work on this stream, or I'll work on this thumbnail, or I'll look for a job, or I'll do this online content that I'm working on, or, you know, and like I would just keep doing that and doing that. And I don't know if that's like the right way to go about it, but it's been working for me. I mean, like, for example, like I told you guys, like, right when I started the stream, like, I was pretty upset today. I was not in a good mood, and I was thinking about taking the day off, but like, I still wanted to get in front of the camera and like talk and hang out and chat and do that kind of thing. And doing this for me right now makes me feel so much better. Like, because I'm being productive with my time, and I'm doing something, and I'm, you know, coping with whatever the hell is bothering me. Which, like I said, like, you know, I can't get into explicit details, but, yeah, I just, because, like, I mean, I was definitely, like, a lot of the time kind of, like, wrapping myself up into this ball and trying to, well, I mean, you know, in the past, I was kind of trying to constantly, you know, lay in bed all day, you know, that kind of thing, where you're just like, I'm so sorry for myself, and everything is shit, and I hate everything, blah, blah, blah. But then I realized, like, and this is what I've been learning to deal with these last couple of weeks, is I was like, but that's not very productive, and it doesn't get anything done. So, like, I don't really want to do that. I'd rather work on something to stay productive. And, like, when I'm staying productive, like, I don't think about what is super pissing me off right now, you know? And, like, the worst part, too, is, like, and this has been the hardest part about it. And, like, I'm actually really glad that you guys are all here to hear this out, because this is super important that I need to get out there. This has been a really tough week for me, and I do understand that most of you get that, with little to no information, which is great. I'm glad that the majority of you don't need very much information to understand that, like, things are rough, but I'm still trying to be productive as best as I can. But the thing is that I, like, had to do with multiple different people this last week, which was really hard for me to do, was I had to tell multiple people that I wasn't mad at them, you know? And, like, because, like, I had multiple people that kept thinking that I was really angry at them, like, because I wouldn't, you know, respond to my DMs, or, you know, I wouldn't respond to, like, you know, a general conversation in the Discord, or, you know, like, having people text me to make sure I'm okay. And the thing is like, I'm not, like, mad at you guys specifically, and, like, and that was really hard, because I had to kind of, like, I get into this situation where, like, sometimes I just kind of, like, I still want to produce material and hang out with you guys, but at the same time, I need to kind of have my space. That's really important to me. And, like, it felt really hard for me to have to kind of sit down and, like, carefully explain to people that I wasn't mad at them. And, like, I kind of had to, like, beat around the bush, because I, you know, it's when you're in a position where you have people, you know, that you speak with regularly online who know you online, and then you have people that you speak regularly with that you know offline, but you're not necessarily allowed to, like, commingle, you know, that stuff together. That's not really appropriate, because then you get into issues like doxing, or, you know, hurting people's feelings online versus hurting people's feelings offline. And so it's really hard when you know that you can't share lots and lots of information to, whether it's offline people or online people. Like, I can't tell, like, a lot of online people about what's going on offline, and I can't tell a lot of offline people about what's going on online if they're not specifically directly involved with it. So it was just kind of really hard that I had to kind of sit down and, like, vaguely explain to people that, you know, I was going through some things and I needed my space, and I couldn't necessarily tell them all the reasons why, you know? And I just kind of hope that, like, and it seems like the majority of you get that, which is great, but it's also really hard when, like, somebody who I care about, whether online or offline, somebody that I care about suddenly wants to take on the responsibility of thinking that they pissed me off when really they didn't. And then I have to kind of try my best to explain, like, why that's not the case without going into too much detail. So, and I just want you guys, and like, when I take a day off where, you know, I'm not talking to anybody, whether through DMs or whatever, or I'm not streaming, like, you know, sometimes, like, if I'm offline, like, I think I said it in, what was it, my Pokemon stream I did this last week? Like, I kind of said, like, I opened it up and I said, I'm really glad that you guys totally understood that there was a reason why I was not responding to messages all day. And, like, I kind of said that with my tongue in cheek, you know, because I knew that was not the case. So, and don't get me wrong, guys, I love you guys, I really do. But it's just that, like, you know, if I don't, like, you know, if I don't respond to somebody for, like, weeks, like, you know, for a really, really long time, like days and days and weeks, then yeah, maybe there's something really wrong. But if I have one day where I don't respond to anybody, don't take it to heart. It just means that, you know, maybe I'm out with somebody, or maybe I'm with my family, or maybe I'm working somewhere else, you know, for one day and doing something. So it's just kind of like, I just really want to get that out there, you know, because it's probably really important, especially, like, you know, if the channel keeps growing the way that it is, it probably needs to be properly explained and established that, you know, not everything going on in my life is any one particular individual on my channel's fault. And it also doesn't mean that, like, I'm going to be able to keep in constant contact with every single person. Because that's just impossible, you know? And, like, I love you guys, and I love spending time with you guys, and I like keeping you guys informed, but, you know, I got shit going on, mate. I got shit going on, you know? So I just hope you guys kind of understand. I really needed to kind of get that out there and make sure that you guys understand that, you know? But it's all in good fun, and you know, I would love to become, like, you know, I keep talking about how I'm working really hard to kind of turn the channel into this full-time thing, but clearly, like, we're not there yet. So, like, and that's a thing that I also need to kind of bring up, is that it's looking like that, because I am still looking for online jobs, but it's very likely that I might have to go back to doing a, you know, a part-time base, like 9 to 5 or whatever. And that's something that is probably going to be happening, I don't know, maybe within a month or two. So, you know, like, that means that if that's the case, I won't be streaming and making videos every day. Now, I mean, I might get myself onto a schedule where I might have the chance to still, if I stick to making videos like I'm starting to, I will probably have the chance to kind of release a video every single day if I get that all set up before I have to, you know, go to work and all that. So we'll see. I'll try my best to keep you guys informed, but I'm gonna go ahead and catch up on the chat, because it's very clear that I've fallen very, very, very far behind, and everybody wants me to pay attention to them. I know I go into monologues, and I apologize, guys. Let's see, book hoarding is fun. It gets so heavy when moving, it's annoying. Yeah, I actually have a lot of books in my closet that are not put away properly in my apartment. Lot of novels, like, especially, like, series-based novels. Collecting books is cool as long as nobody goes all Fahrenheit 451. Yeah, no. I would be very sad. Like, because I have a lot of, like, collectible books. I collect rare books as well as, you know, normal types of books, so I'd be very sad if any of them got really badly damaged. Flea markets are jokes. I used to hit them up for video games back in the day. Oh my god. Like, do you remember, like, the knockoff, like, video game systems that they would import from China that were, like, made of, like, cheap plastic? And they would be like, there's 100,000 games on this one console! And then it's just, like, 5 games, but they just repeat it with, like, a different title over and over again. It's so ridiculous. Oh, Rathwood, your channel's older than mine. Very nice, buddy. Very nice. And it looks like Lettuce is here. I don't know if I said hi to Lettuce already. I hope I did. Sorry if I didn't earlier. Fajouk came in and kind of just jumped in and said hi. He noticed that I was talking about the age of my channel. Yeah, looks like his is about the same age as mine. They're very cool, very cool. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I built my channel back in the days where it's like, you had to have a channel, like, if you wanted to, like, you know, watch content or whatever. So that's what I did, and that's how this channel got started. It's been the same name all this time. Like, I've actually never changed the name of the channel for as long as I've had it. Lettuce says, I'm not fake, I'm your lover, I'm your zero. Oh, okay, he's singing me Smashing Pumpkins. Very nice. Yeah, Fajouk, you understand. You totally get what I'm talking about. I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you so much, Fajouk. I appreciate that. Yeah. Oh, and Zoo is here. Glad to see you, Zoo. Thanks for coming and hanging out. DLG says, by the book, the universe is telling you to take the next exit. This one's not for you. Yeah, it's possible. We are your therapist couch. Lay on us and tell us all of your problems. Yeah, it's just been a really pretty wild week for me. I don't know where it's going. But the thing is, it's really been weird, which is, like, why I need to kind of figure out how I'm going to take the next step and, like, how I'm going to properly work on it, is that, like, working on this channel as hard as I've been working, especially this last month, I have never felt so fulfilled in what I'm doing. Like, I get excited every day to, like, work on... Well, I mean, except for today, obviously, like, I was like, I don't know if I want to do a stream, and here I am doing a stream, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's fulfilling to me. It was kind of this month specifically that made me really realize that I really like what I'm doing here, and I really want it to be something. It's just that the hardest part for me right now is figuring out what I'm turning it into and what I want it to be. And it was really funny because I was watching a podcast today. I watch a lot of podcasts. There's one in particular that I've become a pretty big fan of recently. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Trash Taste podcast. Shout out to Trash Taste podcast. I watched Trash Taste podcast, which is basically, it's a really interesting podcast. I love them. They're basically these three anime YouTubers, who are all three of them are very good friends. And the idea is that, all three of them are pretty large, and they all have their own large YouTube channels. And they basically, all three of them, around the same time, moved to Japan. Two of them are not fluent in Japanese. Like, one of them is, oh god, I hope I'm not mistaken on this. One of them's Indian, and the other one is from the UK. And they're both, like, so they don't know Japanese or anything, but the third guy is an Australian guy who, he's Australian, and he's half Australian, half Japanese. But he has lived in Japan, like, multiple different times, because most of his family is in Japan. And he also speaks very, very fluent Japanese, and he also reads Japanese. And they're very interesting guys. I love them. Like, I love watching their content. And it's funny because I discovered the podcast before I discovered their individual channels, which apparently is very unusual for their viewer base. But yeah, and I really enjoy the podcast, and I like what they have to say and talk about, because they talk about all sorts of different things. And today, the podcast was aired back in December, but today I watched the December podcast, where they were talking about, like, their favorite YouTube channels and their favorite YouTubers and things like that. And it was very enlightening. Like, it was very interesting to kind of, like, listen to these because they're very large YouTube channels. Like, I think all three of them, I think, have maybe at least 1 million, maybe a little less than 1 million, I'm not sure, like, subscribers. And but what was really interesting was a lot, like, they kind of talked about, like, at first they were talking about YouTube channels that were below, I think, like 500,000, or I want to say they maybe talked about like some that are lower than 100,000, and that was really interesting. And they're also talking about like larger channels, and they're talking about like what they seek in content and things like that. And it was just really interesting because it kind of like made me think about like what I'm doing with my channel and like what I'm trying to do with the content that I make here, and you know how it affects the people that watch my content and how it affects me, and like where do I want to go with this? Like, do I, you know, want this to be this really big thing? Do I not care? Like, I don't really know. And like it was just really interesting because like they also have some pretty interesting opinions on, like, one of the things that they talk about pretty frequently that they've talked about in other podcasts that I've listened to was that I've been thinking very heavily about, and I feel like I should discuss it because it might, like, the thing that they've been talking about is something that I've been thinking of actively changing with my setup. They talked about how sketchy Discord gets as you get larger. And I've actually started to notice some things about that. Like, you know, besides of what they would talk about, I've also started to notice it in my own Discord. And I've also started to kind of reflect on how other people that I know run their Discords, and how my Discord contrasts greatly to how they run theirs. So, and I mean, this also came up as a major issue recently because I got into an argument with one of my channel members about how I operate my Discord. And I know that some of you guys were aware of that. Some of you guys might not have been. And it made me realize, like, what his, like, so in my opinion, I stick by it. I disagree with what he believes that I should do on my Discord, okay? I disagree with him, and I stick by that. Now, I'm not mad at him for, like, arguing with me about it. Like, that's important to state. I'm not angry about the argument I had with him. But having that discussion with him, as well as hearing all the warnings that I've heard about Discord, and combined with also seeing how other people run Discord more strict, made me realize that it's very likely that I'm going to have to change some things on the Discord. I've already had to change some things on the Discord. Like, for example, I had to make a channel where only I can post my video content on it. And that was a minor thing that I didn't think too much about. I just kind of did it, but it was like one of the first things that popped up where, you know, I realized, like, maybe some things need to change around here. You know, I'm very loose with my Discord, and I'm already aware that that might not necessarily be very healthy for the Discord and for me. And then the next major thing was that argument that I had, which I was very, like I said, I wasn't angry at him specifically, but I didn't enjoy that argument. And what that argument did in fact do was it made me realize that, and he may not be happy with it. If he's not happy with it, then that's fine. Because the thing is here's the thing. My Discord is my Discord, okay? So, you know, I run my Discord. Now, I kind of had to argue the point that it's like, if you're not happy with how I run my Discord, then you can go run your own Discord. That's fine, you know? And that's important to know. Like, my Discord is just like my channel. Like, you can't tell me how to run my channel. I run my channel the way that I want to run my channel. And I run my Discord the way that I want to run my Discord. So the fact that, like, you think that for some reason everybody else needs to have a louder voice on my Discord, I don't care if that's what you think. Like, I am glad that you have an opinion about it, but that's not how I'm going to run things. I'm sorry. And if you don't like it, then you can leave. Like, I'll be straight up with you. If you don't like it, you can leave. Seriously. That's fine. But the thing is that it also, I am glad that I had that argument with him. I did. Because what it made me realize is that the fact that he was able to have that argument with me says to me that I'm not running things correctly on my side the way that I should be, in the sense of not necessarily of doing things the way that he wants it done, but it means that I have to have a better control over what's going on in my Discord. And that's very clear because, like, for example, like, I was talking about the Trash Taste podcast, and one of the things they talked about was they were talking about how dangerous Discord can get when you just have a very open Discord where everybody can talk about whatever the hell they feel like. Now, right now, it's fine. Like, it's totally fine because I have a bunch of cool people who just want to come in and have a good time. And that's awesome. Like, you know, all of you guys, like, the majority of you guys in my chat log right now, hanging out in this stream right now, I'm very aware that you guys are very cool, relaxed people. And that's awesome. You know, that's great, and I love that. But the thing is that I'm also very aware that if the channel gets bigger, naturally the Discord will get bigger, and there's going to be a lot of weird people that are going to come around, and all they're going to want to do is give a bad time to me and you guys, you know? And that is going to basically require me to institute a more regulated Discord. Like, I'm going to have to kind of put my foot down. I'm going to have to probably, I'm thinking I might have to strip some of the channels out. I might have to kind of limit some of the abilities that people have in the Discord. And the thing is, too, is that, like, you know, my moderators that I have currently are people that I really trust, you know? And in my channel as well as my Discord. And the thing is more so in the Discord, because it seems like that the Discord is going to have a lot more responsibility instilled into it. And that means that, you know, I'm going to have to probably limit a lot of what people do, but I still have to also have moderators that I can trust, which is important. So I might have to, like, delete some of the channels. I might have to lock it down. Like, you know, limit the capabilities of what people are allowed to post. I might have to, like, have some, like, I mean, I'm probably going to keep my channel where only I can post my content. That's probably okay. But I might basically delete most of the channels on the Discord and then just have, like, a general chat log where people can talk about whatever. Because it seems like most of the channels are not used anyways. Most people just like to go right into the general chat log and just kind of talk about whatever, which is fine. But I might also need to be more strict about that as well. So, for example, I know that there is a setup that I can put in where Discord will demand that if you want to be in the Discord, you have to give up some personal information. And I've definitely seen multiple content creators do that with their Discord in order to kind of root out people that are jerkwads. So that might be something that comes in the future. Another thing is that I might delete most of the voice channels and just keep one voice channel that only I can use. And that is for the purpose of doing things like private streaming, which I've talked about a couple different times. I'm going to have some water real quick, and then I'll also read the chat log. Very thirsty today. I ate a lot of salty food, guys. Which is also probably part of the reason why I'm not feeling super amazing. Okay, it's alright if you monologue, you're not a supervillain. Thank you, DLG, I appreciate it. Hey there, Cinder! I'm sorry I didn't say hi, buddy. Hey, Cindy, I'm thinking about doing a video that's going to be kind of a play off of one of your previous videos. So, you know how I was kind of talking about this earlier in the stream, a little bit ago, is, you did a video a while ago called, like, I think it's called, like, Why I Still Play Magic the Gathering. I actually wanted to make, like, an antithesis video, to that video called Why I Don't Play Magic the Gathering. And I was going to kind of play off of some of the points that you made in your video to kind of reverse it and, make it, like, why I don't like Magic anymore. So if that bothers you, let me know, okay, buddy? I just thought that would be kind of funny. Zeus says, sometimes having empathy for others, even when you know nothing is the best thing a person can do, I try to not take things personally and to not assume. Mostly I go by gut feeling for others' emotions. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a pretty healthy way to go about it in general. I try to, I don't know, I like to hear people out. And then I try to, like, think objectively a lot. Like, because I've had situations where I would have to talk to a friend and they wanted an objective opinion. And, like, I would want to respond to them in an emotional manner because I feel invested in their situation, like, emotionally invested in their situation. And the hardest part sometimes when you run into something like that is taking yourself out of that emotional investment and thinking about the issue objectively and then responding objectively. And I've had to do that with some very intensely emotional conversations that I've had with people, and it's hard. It can be pretty hard. But there's nothing wrong with going by your gut either. Like, I mean, because a lot of the time there are people who just want to hear, like, your side of the story, or they want to hear, like, your overall opinion, and that's why they want to know. Like, that's why they ask you, is because they're like, I trust your overall objective and, like, how you respond emotionally, and that's what I want to hear. I have a very close friend of mine who gets very emotionally involved with some very serious topics on a regular basis. And he gets really bent out of shape about his own opinions. Like, he gets worried that he's too pushy, or that he's too emotional, or that, you know, he's gonna, you know, put off people with his opinions. And I've had to tell him multiple times, I was like, dude, that's why I ask you for this information. Like, that's why I want your opinion. Like, because I know you're going to respond that way, and that's what I'm asking you for, is because I want to, like, I trust your overall judgment on things. And yes, you can get kind of emotional about it, but it's still your overall judgment, and that's why I'm asking you. I trust you as a friend, you know? So there's nothing wrong with that. Just, you know, sometimes, though, it's that you need to still be able to, you know, separate other people's emotions from your own opinions and emotions and things like that as well. Lettuce says, oh yeah, large discords are just horrible. I'm in a few and was a mod in one. That wasn't a good time. Yeah. Used to mod for Sophia Narwitz. I don't know who that is. Cindy wants to know what is missing. Well, I kind of filled you in a little bit, buddy. Yeah, it's just that, like with the things that have been going on in my Discord and the things that have going on in my life right now, I'm kind of realizing that I think I need to kind of, like, before things get out of control, I need to step in and change things while I still have my hands wrapped around them and can still control what's going on. I definitely think I need to step down on the Discord and kind of, gain more control over it, and probably, run it with an iron fist a little bit, you know? Like, I still love you guys, and I still want to run a nice community, but with the things that I've been hearing about Discord from multiple sources that I trust, and also the things that I've been experiencing on my own Discord, it makes me realize that I need to get a stronger sense of control over my Discord before it blows out of proportion and gets wild and crazy and scary. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that. So if you guys see coming up soon that there's some really drastic changes to how the Discord functions, this is where I'm talking about that and informing you guys. I want to make sure you guys understand that's me changing things. So don't be too worried about it. I promise everything will be fine. Zeus says, I really dislike it when people think my actions and or opinions have to be the same as theirs. It hurts to feel like that I can't be different. Yeah, but those are people that you usually cut out of your life. Like, you know, when you come up against people that are just like, well, you're wrong and I dislike you because you're wrong, and it's like, well, then you're somebody that I don't need in my life anymore, so you can go. You know, and that's how, you know, like I said, like, I had to cut somebody out of my life, and, like, the best way that I was able to do that is just to kind of, you know, remove them from my life. Like, I just had to do that. That's just how things work sometimes, you know? But yeah, don't ever be afraid to have to do that. Like, in fact, it actually shows, like, if you have the willpower to remove people who act like that in your life, like, that shows that you're overall just a healthier person, you know? Kind of turn down the music on my side a little bit. It's getting a little loud over here. I'm still hoping the music isn't too loud for you guys, but considering none of you guys have spoken up about it, I'm sure it's fine. DLG says, speaking of cool people, hey, Cinder Shadow. Yeah, I said hello to Cinder Shadow. I'm glad to have him in here. Totally cool with going just to general chat. Well, I appreciate that, Zoo. Thank you for letting me know that that's something you're okay with. Hey, Roxas, glad to have you in here, buddy. Cindy says, DGL quit simping. Oh, DLG quit simping for me. Love it, but it is strange. Okay. Cindy says, do it up. I assume he's talking about the video that I was mentioning possibly earlier. Zoo says, tough love, right? Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you gotta get a little tough, but I just think that, I really do think that if I don't start changing things right now, then if things do, get crazy and grow crazy, which I expect, then, I don't want to have to clean up a mess that is really, really complicated when I could have cleaned up something, when I could have, prevented that mess from happening in the first place. You know what I mean? Let's see. Cindy says, I am playing and joking. Just realized it may not come across that way. I'm sure he understands. I wouldn't worry about it, Cindy. But yeah, so yeah, it's been a pretty crazy, hectic week, and I've been making a lot of changes and trying a lot of different things. I do actually really hope that you guys are okay with me putting out videos instead of, streams all the time, because that might become a more regular thing coming up soon. I do want to still do streams on a regular basis, however, the thing is, too, is that I'm expecting, even though I really detest it, I'm expecting that I will have to go back and get a proper 9-to-5. I was really hoping to find something online that would really work for me, and it's been really tough finding something like that. I did get involved in an online reviewing program, and it doesn't look like it's going to work out, because, I got all set up for it, and I'm supposedly hired for it, and I did all the requirements needed to basically be involved in the job. However, nobody's contacted me about all the stuff I've done already, and it's been almost about a week. So I don't think that's going to be something that's going to work out. I am going to keep looking for more online stuff, but it seems like that it's not within my capabilities. I was also really upset because my agent did contact me, and they offered me work that is not appropriate for my current situation or condition. And I did contact them again, trying to let them know that I was like, hey, this work is not appropriate for, these... I went into a lot of explanation as to why the work was not appropriate. And they haven't contacted me back since then, and that was a few days ago. So I'm also worried that that's not going to be something that'll work out. But I do have a job that I'm looking at that I'm pretty sure is going to work out just fine. So even though I don't really want to, nobody really wants to, but I know that it'll probably work out and it'll probably be fine, and I don't think I have to worry about it. So, but I'm just going to keep on, looking and hoping that maybe there's a better answer for me, in that particular thing. Like I said, I really want a online job where I can just stay home, because, one of the major things that has been really freaking me out lately, I'm a little nervous to talk about it, but I feel like I might as well. I have some physical conditions that have recently been acting up more lately, and it's been kind of making me really nervous. And I started noticing that they were acting up more when I was working my previous job, which I left. They were getting kind of aggravated, and it was kind of scary. And then even when I left the job, I started noticing like some increased symptoms that I didn't really have before, but were basically made sense based on my condition. To kind of explain it is, I have basically, like, I have a physical condition where my lungs are compacted by my rib cage, and it's not fun. If you guys ever see me, like, you guys might notice sometimes when I'm streaming or making a video, I'll stop for a moment and I'll be like, like that, and then I'll say I'm sorry or something like that. That's my physical condition. So when you guys see me do that, what's happening is I have this thing where my lungs basically cannot hold enough air in my chest, and because of how my rib cage is, and I basically breathe a lot from my diaphragm. And if I wanted to, I could become here's the upside, guys. Because I'm really good at breathing from my diaphragm, I could become a really successful singer. But, yeah, so I was conditioned as a kid to kind of have to learn to breathe from my diaphragm because of this condition that I have. And so I basically use my stomach as like a third lung, and that helps me breathe. However, because of that condition, I sometimes have issues with having enough oxygen in my lungs, and I sometimes have to gasp for air, which is, like I said, when you guys see me do that, that's what that is. And sometimes it can be so bad that I have had some blackouts in the past, which is not fun. And one of the things that is a new symptom that has just recently started, which is why I've been really nervous about my overall condition, which is also why I think I need to look for work that is less physical and more oriented with me staying at home and working from my computer, is this is something that's only recently started within this last month, which is kind of intimidating. I have woken up in the middle of the night gasping for air, like while I'm sleeping. So like I'll be like, when it happens, I'll be laying in bed and I'll either be almost asleep or completely asleep, and then suddenly I come out of sleep and I'm just like a very large, loud gasp for air. Which is very scary because that's only something that has started happening within this last month. I don't want to believe that it is turning into sleep apnea, because that would be terrible. I do know a little bit about sleep apnea, and it's not cool, and I don't like it, and I don't want to believe that that is something that is happening to me. But it's possible. So I just kind of have to be more aware of my physical condition. And like I said, I have noticed that, doing a lot of the 9-to-5s that I've been doing with my previous jobs, have been really pushing my physical condition. And it's a bit nerve-wracking. So I have to be kind of more aware of that. And I have to be a little bit more self-conscious of, taking care of myself better. And I mean, like I said, like I was kind of trying not to really talk too much about it with you guys, but this feels like a stream where I can talk about that, and I feel like you guys will probably understand. That's why, like I said, that's why I'm very obsessed with trying to find an online job. And this of me not wanting to take this is because I'm worried about what kind of physical condition it's going to put me into. So, I'd rather just, like, I basically told them, like, I would like to, see what other options I have available to me are. Like, if there's, anything that I can do where I could work from home that would maybe work better in that fashion because of, the condition I'm dealing with and other things of that sort, you know. So, and I also told them, I went ahead and was honest with them too. I was like, I also, you know, run my YouTube channel, and I'd like to spend more time working on my YouTube channel. And if I had an online job working at home, that would allow me to be continuously comfortable working on my YouTube channel. So I laid it all out there for them, is what I was trying to do. I was like, listen, like, you know, the job isn't valuable enough to me, and like, you know, I'm worried about my physical condition, and also I'm working on my YouTube channel, so all these factors don't line up with what you're, you know, asking me to do here. So I gotta turn it down. So that's what I had to do. And I've had to turn down a lot of jobs because of that, because of all those conditions. And I just don't know where it's going to take me. And that's why, like, I found a job. Well, I mean, I have this job in line that seems like it would be a good fit because I have experience working in the kind of condition that they're willing to provide to me. And it's not extremely stressful on my body. In fact, a lot of it is just me standing around in a single place, not doing too much active stuff. So I'm hoping that, you know, if worse comes to worse, I could just get that job. And they'll pay me quite a bit. Like, the pay was really nice from what I saw. And I have lots of experience with it. I'm pretty sure they would hire me, and my references are good. And I'm sure maybe also they would go a little easier on me if I kind of explained my condition to them. Like, so I'm kind of hoping that, you know, that would be like the last resort if I can't land like an online job. But yeah, so, you know, I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys a little bit. I'm going to catch up on the chat log a little bit more. I fell behind. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. Oh, Stay and Play. What's up, girlfriend? How you doing? Glad to see you in here, girl. Always happy to have you here. Let's see here. Zeus says, as a future teacher, having structure is just as important as the emotional relationships you create. There you go. I think you have an overall really positive look on things, Zoo, and I really appreciate that. You're pretty awesome. Glad to have you here, girl, always. Let's see. DLG's talking to Cinder, says, I know you wouldn't be mean to me. Everybody loves the big animal that sits quietly. There you go. Yeah, maybe you could apply it to your channel and Discord. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I don't really 100% know where I'm going with the channel right now, but I'm trying really hard to get it to work right, and I'm trying really hard to reach out with different kinds of content. I might be testing some other things that I haven't done before. So like I said, you guys might start noticing that there's going to be lots of different styles of content and what kinds of content I put on here, just because I'm trying to test the water with a lot of different kinds of things. Let's see here. Secret stream soon, says Roxas. Probably. I was thinking maybe I'll probably do a Pokemon stream, a secret Pokemon stream, just to grind my Pokemon to the levels that they need to be for the next gym. So that's something that could come up soon. Oh, Stay and Play, it's okay. Guys, don't worry. I promise you I'll be fine. This reaction is kind of why I try not to talk too much about my overall physical condition. Because I know you guys really care, and I don't want to get you guys all bent out of shape and worried. And I mean, like, I do, like, you know, I really care about you guys, and I do want you guys to know that I'm doing all right. But I also think that you know, like, if I don't tell you, you know, my physical condition and the things that are going on right now, it feels like that I'm kind of, like, leaving you guys out of something that might need to be known. You know, because, like, you know, if I have a situation where my physical condition becomes an issue and prevents me from doing something on the channel, I'd like to make sure that you guys are aware of it and things like that. I don't expect that to be an issue. Nothing's going to stop me from working on this channel, okay, guys? I promise you. I just want to make sure that I have... Like, I can't always put all my cards on the table for you guys. That's just how it works. But I'd like to make sure that you guys have a general understanding of what's going on in my life. And, you know, like, I think that it's only fair to kind of talk about why, you know, it's possible that my physical condition could prevent certain things from happening or whatever. So, but I don't want you guys to be too worried. I've lived with it my whole life. Like, I've had this issue with my lungs since I was a very small kid. And it didn't really truly become a problem until I was in high school. Man, there's some really bad stories. Like, I actually, there's a story about a physical education teacher who got fired because he refused to believe that I had the physical condition that I had. And he basically, what happened was we were supposed to do a track running test that was just nonstop running around the track. And I had to explain to this PE teacher, I was like, listen, like, I have this condition, and it's very dangerous for me to be running for extremely long periods of time over and over and over again. And he's like, I don't care, run the track! Run the track or you fail! And I was like, alright, dude, whatever. So I ran the track, and I blacked out right on the track. I, bam, hit the pavement. And luckily I had my friends, like, stop and help me up, and they had me go to the nurse's office, and I had to go see a doctor. And then the doctor was outraged. The doctor wrote me a note. My father was outraged. I took the note to school, and that physical education teacher lost his job. That's a 100% true story. Oh, man. I haven't thought about that one in a long time. But yeah, and it was super funny because we got a replacement physical education teacher afterwards. And the physical education teacher that replaced the one who got fired was a student teacher under that guy. And so he was actually there, and he witnessed the whole event go down. So, like, after the physical education teacher who made me run track and where I blacked out, after he got fired, that student teacher took over his job. And then what happened was I then had a physical education teacher who was overly cautious with me. Like, it was so funny because I really liked PE, and, like, I liked, you know, participating in all the activities as best as I could. And he would be like all the time, he'd be like, Mike, sit out, dude. You've been playing too hard, too long, sit out. And I was like, I just sat out, like, you know, 5 minutes ago. He's like, I don't care. You're sitting out. Go sit down. Like, I'm not, I even remember one time he's like, I ain't losing my job because of you. Sit out, dude. He was looking over my health. He wasn't rude or anything, but, but yeah, he was a really nice guy. Like, after he took over the other guy's job, but I remember that pretty well. But yeah, and I've had a couple of other blackouts because of my condition and things like that, but I try not to make a big deal out of it. I just kind of try to push forward and be awesome and enjoy life to the best of my abilities constantly, because, you know, I ain't letting that shit hold me back. That's stupid. Don't let anything hold you back, guys. Don't ever let that happen. Stay and play. Aw, I'm a champion. Aw, thanks, girlfriend. You're amazing, too. I love all you guys. You guys are awesome. Oh, looks like Helfer Gamers is here. I'm sorry I didn't see you before. Glad to have you in here, buddy. I swear, I'm trying my hardest to catch up on the chat log, guys. I swear. Let's see. Let's see. Lettuce, if you need any help setting things up, I'm your boy. Dude, Lettuce, you have done such amazing things for my setup. I really appreciate it. Every single time that I've tried to contact you to, like, help me with, like, my software or my camera or whatever, you've always been there for me, buddy, and I super appreciate you, dude. I love you to death, through and through. Helver Gamers says, I had an emergency dentist appointment today. Now I'm on painkillers, and I hope you get through it, buddy. Man, you're a tough dude, man. Dentist work is, like, the worst. It can be the worst, you guys. Becca says, have you had a sleep study? It is not so bad. I have sleep apnea. Oh, okay. I have a CPAP machine. I should use it more, but that is me. So, like I said, I've only started noticing stuff with it this month. Like, the whole waking up and gasping for air has only been something that has started occurring this month particularly. And I found that a lot of the time, as long as I'm sleeping on my side, it's okay. I usually always sleep on my side anyways, but every time that it has happened where I've, you know, woken up gasping for air, it's been when I'm flat on my back. I never sleep on my stomach either. I used to sleep on my stomach years and years ago, but I had to stop doing that. Because it got to a point where it was uncomfortable for me. But I try not to sleep on, ever since I started having that issue, which has been this month, of sleeping on my back and then waking up gasping for air. I just try to sleep on my side now. And now that I'm sleeping on my side all the time, every single night, I don't really have any problem. Like, I haven't had a night where I've been sleeping on my side and I gasp for air. And I actually do have a body therapy pillow, it's a big, long, I think it's like 6 feet long. It's basically a 6 foot long body pillow, which I call my therapy pillow. And I always sleep on my side. And I have this weird thing too where I'm really getting personal with you guys today. Really, really personal here, guys. I have this thing. I've had this since I was a kid, and I don't know why. I have no idea why. I hate it when my knees touch each other. So, like, my knees, if my knees touch each other, I'm so uncomfortable. I can't stand the idea of my knees touching each other. It's the weirdest feeling. It's like nails on a chalkboard, but the feeling form of that. So, like, if I'm sleeping and I'm laying down and my knees are touching each other, I am so unbelievably uncomfortable. So unbelievable. I can't even sleep if my knees are touching each other. So, like, I have to have a pillow in between my knees. Because if I don't have a pillow in between my knees, I can't sleep. So I have always had basically a body pillow that I use for, essentially I cuddle it. I cuddle my body pillow. I'm sorry, it's a therapy pillow. It's a therapy pillow, thank you very much. But yeah, I basically have that originally because I couldn't stand my knees touching each other. And then obviously that just led me to sleeping on my side all the time. And now I'm finding it that as long as I'm sleeping on my side, I don't have breathing problems. So that's kind of what I'm trying to keep up with. Lettuce says, also simping for Cinder Shadow instead of someone like me is just a poor play. Very cute, Lettuce. You simp for whoever you want, big boy. You too sexy to be shared with by only one man. Yeah, he does have me covered, doesn't he, Hell for Gamers? There is no way Cindy is touching your PP. Hey, I got PP Max, boy. That's how I used it on my monster. You know what I'm talking about. Likely. You guys, you are so ridiculous, Lettuce. You crack me up, man. Matt says, Habs, take care of yourself. Now I'm worrying about you. Don't. I'm fine. I'm so fine. This has been a rough week for me. It's been a weird, rough week, but it's been fine. Like, I mean, like I said, like, as you guys can see, streaming with you guys is really helped me a lot. Like, just being here in front of you guys has been great and has been kind of therapeutic, but it also feels like I'm being productive. And a lot of the time, like I said, like, lately my therapy for a lot of the stuff that I'm going through is constantly working on something. If I can constantly keep myself busy and constantly work on something and constantly producing something, especially for the channel, like, I feel so much better because I feel like that I'm taking what otherwise would be a waste of time and making that time as productive as possible, which is what I really like about it. So that's what's been really therapeutic for me recently. But yeah, and I really do appreciate that you guys are concerned about me, but I also don't want you guys to be bent out of shape. Which is originally why it was a struggle for me to talk about this stuff, because I was worried that you guys would be super, scared and concerned about my overall well-being, which I really appreciate it. I really do. But I also don't want you guys to stress out about me, okay? Like I said, my condition, my breathing condition, I've lived with it my whole life. Like, I even remember, I have so many memories. Like, my dad has, bent over backwards for me to help me deal with my condition as well. And, also my condition has helped me, learn important lessons in my life as well. Like, it's helped me learn, like, where my limitations are, like, how, not to push myself too hard. It's also, this is going to sound really weird, it's also taught me about people. Because I have blacked out in front of a few different people. And what's really interesting about that is that when you black out in front of people, you very quickly find out who are good people and who are not good people. So like, for example, I have blacked out in front of friends and family members that like I blacked out in front of my best friend once, because of my condition. And when I came to, what he was doing was he first of all, like, grabbed me by the arm to lift me up. And while simultaneously grabbing me by the arm to lift me up, he was also on the phone with 911 in the process of calling an ambulance. Like, and I'm like, that's a good friend. Like, you know? Or like, you know, like I blacked out in front of my dad and his response was to sprint into the room and pick me up and put me on the couch, you know? But I've also blacked out in front of some not so good people, and their response was something that is not really good for me to share on the channel. So, you know, having that kind of condition helps you kind of like, you know, it's not like I purposely black out in front of people. But when it does happen, it very quickly teaches you, you know, a lot about people when a really bad condition suddenly takes over. Oh my god, Lettuce, please don't do that to me. Don't sack tap me, bro! Don't sack tap me, bro! Roxas wants to know when, I assume about the secret stream. I don't really know. Maybe, probably soon. Like, just stay in touch on the Discord, and I will let people know. I promise I will. That's not something that I'm going to let pass by. What I do is I put out an announcement. I'll do like an @everyone or something so that everybody will be informed, and get like a notification for it on the Discord. And I'll just say like, hey, come into here, and like I'll do a secret stream or something, and that'll be fun. Stay in Place says, well, I trust you to take the right steps to stay healthy. Thank you for sharing something that was so personal. Oh, it's all good. I kind of feel like it was probably the appropriate thing to do, simply because like a lot of things are changing on my channel, and I feel like that there are some things that kind of need to be explained a little bit more. And like, you know, like especially like, cause like when I do that gasping thing in the middle of a stream, and like there's no context to why I did it, like I don't want you guys like worried about what that might be. It would probably just be better, because if you're gonna see it happen to me on stream, you're probably gonna want to. It's probably appropriate for me to make sure you guys know what it is. Yeah, Lettuce says, if I was your dad, your PE teacher would have gotten kicked in the giblets mid-eat. Dude, that guy got fired because of both my doctor and my father. Like, I'm dead serious. That guy got fired for that. Like, it was really bad. Because, like, I warned him. Like, I didn't have a doctor's note or anything, but he didn't trust me that I had this condition, and he forced me to run. And, I mean, he made his choice to, like, not listen, and he reaped the consequences of that. So that's how that is. Let's see here. Zeus says, yeah, educators are supposed to be held to really high standards. We are supposed to be professionals. Someone wouldn't want a non-professional performing surgery on them. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, you know, you gotta kind of, like, you know, I think that being a teacher is a really important job. And I'm aware that there are very good teachers, but I'm also very aware that there are really bad teachers. And I can definitely say that I've seen a good share of really bad teachers. Oh, damn! We got Mr. Desolator into house! Damn, bro! Good to see you in here, man! Holy crap, you just now popped up on my chat log all of a sudden. Good to see you, buddy. Well, I'm just gonna keep on catching up on the chat log here and make sure what's going on. Let's see here. Maz says, should have sued that teacher. That is neglect at its finest. Yeah, I mean, I've had my fair share of dealing with teachers like that who just, you know, they think they know everything and they refuse to be told that, you know, they're wrong. And, like, but I've also had teachers that, like, you know, I've had really great teachers who, you know, like, really were really nice to me and like learned things from me, and like I learned from them, and they were really good teachers. And it just kind of depends. It's always kind of like a gamble when it comes to teachers, because you're gonna get bad teachers and you're gonna get good teachers. And you know, I like to believe that the system works just fine, but you know, there's that, you know, there's proof to the contrary, you know what I mean? Ratherwood says, a gym teacher being a jerk sounds pretty typical. Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, the gym teacher that replaced him was a really nice guy, but, like, he also was, like, sometimes overprotective of, like, making sure I wasn't gonna have any problems or anything, which is kind of funny to me as well. Roxas says, well, don't become the next Terry Fox. I guess I won't. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know who Terry Fox is. That might be the issue. Rebecca says, it sounds like the weight of your other organs is further restricting the ability of your lungs to expand at night. Waifu pillowcase, right? You don't know me, Rebecca. You don't... What are you saying about waifu pillowcase? I don't think you have any idea what you're talking about. You don't know anything about me and the kind of person that I might be. I don't even know what a waifu pillowcase is, so what could you possibly be talking about? Are you accusing me of something? You don't know me and my ways. Yeah, the thing is it's not my organs, it's actually my rib cage, my physical rib cage. You guys wouldn't be able to tell on camera, but my rib cage is indented. It's like this, basically. Like, it's like an inverse, like a U shape. And my rib cage being that shape is squeezing my lungs. So basically my lungs can't, like, my lungs are fully grown, but they can't reach their full capacity because my rib cage is squeezing my lungs. That's basically what it is. Lettuce, don't tell her my secrets. Shut up. Shut up, Lettuce. You don't know me. Matt says, oh boy, the not so good ones experimented with you or took your clothes. Not 100% sure what we're talking about right there. But okay, Maz. Let me actually read Dez's comment. My guess is he probably swung in and then swung out. Oh no, he's still here. I see you, buddy. He said, just showed up, you got breathing issues or something? Because that'd make two of us. Oh, really? I didn't know you had breathing issues, Dez. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. Yeah, it's like I said, it's, like, my lungs don't have any, like, actual problems, like, any actual, like, they're normal lungs. What's the problem is my rib cage. My rib cage literally squeezes my lungs. It makes them so that they can't reach their full breathing capacity. Everybody's saying hi to Dez. Rebecca's saying, that makes three of us. It seems like a lot of us have some pretty serious breathing issues, I guess. Helper Gamer says, I'm in my mid-30s and always enjoyed learning and never had a quality teacher. I knew of some that existed in my schools but never had one. Yeah, I had a few really good teachers that stick out in my mind. I had a history teacher that was really fond of me. Mostly, I'll never forget why that history teacher was fond of me. I had this history teacher where what happened was there was a guy in our class who was just a dick. Like, he was just an all-around dick. And he gave everybody a bad time. And there was one day where he was causing a ton of trouble in the classroom of this teacher that I had, this history teacher that I had. And he was being really, really rude to her for, like, no reason. And I basically got in the guy's face, and I basically got in his face, like, hardcore, and, like, just really tore into him. And I even challenged him to a fight after school. I was not a good kid in high school, guys. I was kind of a dick. I mean, I was popular, but I was a dick in high school. But anyways, I got in this guy's face because he was picking on this history teacher I had for no reason. And I basically challenged him to a fight, and he didn't want to fight me. Because a lot of the time, if you fought me, like, yeah, you might have a chance of kicking my butt, but then you'd also have to fight 5 other people who were my homies. So I kind of hung around with some pretty interesting people back in high school that you didn't want to get into fights with. But anyways, so he backed off, and after that, like, after I got in his face in the middle of class, and also challenged him to a fight after school, and he backed down and stopped giving me and the teacher a bad time, like, that teacher loved me. That teacher loved me. Okay, in all seriousness, I remember that woman giving me A's, like A pluses on assignments that I had no right getting A pluses on, like at all. At all. Like, and it was, I'm pretty positive it was just because I defended her in that class. Um, and I had some other really good teachers as well, but that one is particularly memorable simply because I knew that I didn't deserve the good grades that she gave me. But she was very nice, and she liked hearing what I had to say and things like that. Cindy says Terry Fox is a Canadian that ran across the country, but he died under half from cancer. Is that the guy who only had one leg, who like ran a marathon? Like, and he's like considered to be a Canadian hero? Because I heard about that. I think that might, is that the guy? I think I remember hearing about that. Des says, but when you gonna come on the new Desolator game show, though? I didn't even know I was invited, bro. I mean, I'm down. That's just like a thing that you do involved with like retro Magic history, right? Or is there other things involved with it? I mean, I'm kind of down to try it if you're down for it. I mean, I just recently did like a little interview with Fajouk, so I mean, I'm always down to collaborate and do stuff like that. And I mean, Cindy and I play stuff all the time together, so yeah, Des, you and me can totally do something. I'd be down for that. It sounds fun. Like, I would love to, like, I mean, I don't play Magic anymore, so if it's new Magic lore, like, I would say anything Magic related after Dominaria, I don't know about. But if it's anything before Dominaria, I probably know about it. Let's see. DLG says Rem looks really clean there. Hell yeah, DLG. That's some waifu material right there. That's my girl. That's my bae. That's my bae right there. Rem for life, baby. She's my little hottie. My little hottie toddy. Rebecca says, you have the, oh, I kind of lost it there. Okay. You have the concave chest. That makes sense. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Rebecca. Des says, I'd stream every single day if I didn't have lung and throat problems. Oh, yeah, man. That's probably killer, bro. I mean, I try to stay hydrated, you know? And that helps me a lot. But luckily, you know, I don't go through... I'm not a very long-winded person, so I don't feel like I necessarily use tons and tons of air from my lungs. And also, like I said, at a very young age, I was taught to breathe from my diaphragm. That's actually one of my major... my doctor, a long time ago when I was a kid, when they first started finding out that I had this condition, I had to go and learn, like, I had to go through a whole session of learning how to breathe from my diaphragm and use my stomach as a third lung specifically to deal with the condition, so that I wasn't, you know, constantly gasping for air all the time. Des, that's so good. Desolator says, doesn't want to say it, but I was the other student, LOL. That's so good. Yeah, I got in that guy's face. I remember that. But he wasn't a very tough guy. He was just an asshole. Like, I remember... Because I've actually picked fights with some real... I picked fights with people I had no right to pick fights with when I was a kid, when I was in high school. Oh my god. I picked a fight one time with one of the biggest, nastiest football players in the entire high school. And he challenged me to a fight, and... I went to that fight knowing that guy was gonna kick my ass, and I was so lucky. Okay, guys, I have to tell you this story. It's such an epic, 100% true story. And mind you, the guy that I picked this fight with, this wasn't his fault. This was all my fault. I was a dick in high school, guys. I was a dick. So... Basically what happened was I was in a class and I sat right, like, I was in an English class and I sat right behind this huge football player. I still remember his name after all these years, but I don't want to dox him. And he sat right in front of me, like I was the desk right behind him. And he was wearing his white football jersey, okay? With his name on it. Like a classic white football jersey for the high school team. I was so bored, so here's what I did. I pulled out a black Sharpie. And I wrote on his football jersey in big capital letters, I'm gay in like the biggest black Sharpie marker letters, permanent ink on this man's football jersey in the middle of class. He had no idea. And then we went on, and I was like giggling to myself the whole time, like as quietly as I could. And we went outside on break, and everybody started laughing at him. Everybody was laughing at him. He's like, what is everybody laughing at me about? What the hell's going on? And then like one of the other guys told him to turn his shirt around. He saw, I'm gay in big black Sharpie marker letters. And he immediately knew it was me. I was the person who was sitting right behind him. I was the only person who could have possibly have done that. And he was like, Mike. Like, he actually said my last name, but he was like, you, me, back of school, after school, I'm gonna whoop your ass. And I was like, all right, I did it. I knew this was coming. Kick my ass, I don't care. It was like, because I was like, I was resigned to my fate, so I had just accepted what was going to happen. So everybody knew that this was going down. And I'll never forget walking out to the backyard of the back area of the school. Or I guess it was kind of more of the frontish area, but it was, our school was in a really weird way where it was like it was like the front, but it was the backish area of the front of the yard or whatever. And I went out there, and there was this huge circle. Just huge circle of people who knew this fight was going down. And I just walked right into the circle, and I was like, all right, I'm here to get my ass kicked. Let's do this. Like, this football player is like the size of a goddamn pickup truck. I'm a tiny little guy who's just a dick, and I totally deserve what's coming to me. I'll try and get in a few hits, and we'll see what happens from there, you know? And I just waited. And I waited. And I waited. The guy never showed up. That football player never showed up to that fight. And I waited like a pretty long time. And like, I think I waited for like at least 30 or 40 minutes. And the guy never showed up. And I'm like, this guy's not showing up. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, I'm out. Like, screw this. And like, people gave that guy so much shit for such a long time for backing out of that fight. And my theory is, like, I've reflected on it a couple of times, but, like, my theory is that he was a football player for the school team, and I think that they had a rule that you weren't allowed to get into fights, you know? Like, if you got into a fight, you know, at school and you were caught, especially because we were in the front of the school, so, like, everybody could see it, and there was a big circle of students around, so, like, there's no way anybody was going to miss that fight. And, like, I think that if he had actually fought me, he probably would have been kicked off the football team or something. And I think that that's why he didn't show up to that fight. But I'll be totally honest. That guy, like, I would have been totally okay with him kicking my ass because I was a piece of shit. I was a piece of shit, you guys. I shouldn't have done that. Like, that was just me being a dickish high school kid who just didn't give a crap, you know? So if that guy had pummeled me, I would have been totally okay with it, because I probably deserved it. Okay, let me continue on. I'm still falling behind. I'm telling stories and falling behind. Ratherwood says, bro, in my high school, we had tons of part-time supply teachers. Okay. Yeah, just to kind of like, you know, like student teachers and stuff like that, or like teachers that would come in and kind of sub in for another teacher or whatever. That's pretty normal. I had a few of those here and there. Zeus says, the sad thing is about my degree is that most of my professors teaching the next generation of teachers suck at teaching. Yeah, well, because there's a classic saying of, like, if you can't do, then you teach. So, like, the reason why there's a lot of really bad teachers is because they couldn't do what they really wanted. Now, I'm not saying this is your case, Zoo. It's not what I'm saying. You genuinely sound like a person who just specifically wants to be a teacher, which is awesome. Like, if you're passionate about being a teacher and you want to get into teaching, then that's totally cool. And, like, that's a person who's probably going to be really good at teaching. But, like, there's also those teachers who were like, oh, like, I wanted to be this great mathematician, or I wanted to be this great, like, historical person, or historian, or whatever. But they couldn't have a job in that field, so they become a teacher instead. And those people are usually pretty miserable, and they don't end up doing what they want to do, so they instead become teachers because that's all they think they can do anymore. I despised my gym teacher and math teacher, but the rest was okay, says Maz. Yeah. Wow, that was a tongue twister. Okay. I probably wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry, guys. Show us the young you, please. I mean, you know, like, if you, Roxas, if you go into my channel and you see a video called The Ultimate Wedgie, which is, like, the oldest video on my channel, that's me. Like, that's, like, the youngest video that you guys will ever see of me on this channel. That was the very first video that I ever put on my channel, and apparently people love that video. That's, like, my most popular video on my entire channel. Oh, yeah, he's the guy with one leg. Okay, yeah, I have heard about that guy. That is a heartwarming, beautiful story. Like, I definitely heard that story a few different times in a few different places. Desolator says, retro magic and movie posters with Mark's faces edited onto them. Okay, I'd be down. Des, I actually collect old superhero comic books. Someday I might actually show them on my channel, but we'll see. I have, like, first editions of, like, V for Vendetta. So, like, I have an entire collection, all first edition, of the original V for Vendetta set. I have an entire collection of first editions of the Watchmen series. I have a first edition series of Infinite Crisis on Infinite Worlds. And I have really valuable, expensive comics, guys. So, I mean, I know a lot about, like, well, I know some stuff about some retro comics and superheroes and stuff like that. Des says, I know so many boring, mundane, unfunny, uncreative people. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Aw, Des, you're so sweet. And he says, and then there's you. You're such a sweetie, Des. I love you, man. You're such a good dude. Me and a lot of other people, we really appreciate you, Desolator. You make good content, and overall, at the core of your soul and fiber of your very being, you're a very good-hearted person, and I enjoy your company. Ashed says, who's Rem? Ashed? By the way, hi, Ashed. I don't know if I said hi to you before. Who's Rem? You don't know who this beautiful, amazing darling right here is? You don't know my girl Rem? Are you for real? Okay, Ashed, here's your homework, okay? Your homework is to go and watch the entire series of Ray Zero. R-E:0. capital R-E:0 Z-E-R-O. Go watch Ray Zero, okay? It is only just, like, one of the greatest isekai animes of all time. And this girl, this is the best girl right here. This is the ultimate bae right here. The ultimate lady, the best girl of any anime I've ever seen of all time. Right here. And if you don't fall in love with her after watching that show, there's something wrong with you, dude. It's okay. Actually, lots of people have different tastes in the different ladies in that show, but Rem is my girl. She my bae. She my fave. She the best. All right. Yeah, Ray Zero. Check it out. It's great. Matt says, I picked a fight over a girl who stole my seat and sat next to my boyfriend at the time. I didn't care she was new, told her this be a reminder to not cross me again, and I tossed her into the metal stairs. Yeah, Maz, I think that you and me were probably pretty similar in high school. I get that feeling sometimes, especially considering our musical tastes that we both share. Let's see here. Sometimes you know you have it coming. Yeah, I know. I was okay with that guy beating me up, but he never actually did. Let's see. Des says, I would have brought a weapon and also put a friend of his in the hospital on the way there. I've pretty much always been Mr. Cold Tactics, not just now. Yeah, I actually had a guy in high school who once threatened me with a weapon because I started dating the girl that he had a crush on. I got into a lot of fights. Now, I'll admit, I got into a lot of fights. I didn't win every fight. I won a few fights. But I always am okay with saying that every fight that I got into, I didn't get too beaten up too badly, and I usually got a few good hits in, so I'm okay with it. My school had a rule that if you got suspended for twice as long from sports. Yeah, that's the thing is, high schools get really all up in your business when it comes to fighting and sports and stuff like that. Lettuce says, my school had a policy where if you got caught, any suspension, your season was over. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I'm pretty sure that's why that guy never showed up. And honestly, good for him. Because in all seriousness, like, I reflect on that story, and as entertaining as that story is, he was definitely the better man in that story, like, for sure. I was the piece of shit in that story, and I'm totally okay with accepting the fact that I was the piece of shit in that story. Cindy says, I don't want to remember my high school years. My high school years were all right. I got into a lot of trouble, but I also had a lot of fun. Spent the first 2 years, high as shit. Yeah, I believe you, Lettuce. And now I'm old as hell and can't remember shit anyways. Well, there you go. Mike is young Mike. Old Mike is perp. Yep. I mean, you know, I'm okay with people calling me Hobbs. I've really adopted that nickname. I like it a lot. I like people calling me Hobbs. Much better than being called Mike, you know? And the thing is like, even, like, in high school, nobody called me Mike. I used to hang out with, like 4 or 5 other Mikes, so, like, nobody could call me Mike. So they used to actually, my most common nickname was just my last name back in the day. Cindy says, I went to high school as an honor student. My teachers were horrible. My advanced math teacher yelled at the entire class because one student got a poor mark. After that shit went down, I stopped caring. Yeah, high school is a lot of, yeah, it's a mixed batch. Like, sometimes you get really good ones, and sometimes you can get really, really terrible. No, Desolator, Ren, I mean, I think Ren is a character in Evangelion, but no, this is Rem from Ray Zero. Yeah, so, that's Rem from Ray Zero, and she is my ultimate bae. She's my ultimate waifu, and, she's the best. Oh, and he says, oops, probably in reaction to me explaining who Rem is. Also, homework, Google Sonic 4? No! No, you can't make me! I refuse. Ratherwood says, Dez has a heart of gold. Absolutely he does. I'm glad that he came in and hung out with us. DLG says, I have to admit I went through a pretty long depression streak in high school, made a couple of really good friends, but basically did nothing and had to drop out to do alternative school to finish. I was very popular in high school, and I hung out with a lot of different kinds of people. As a freshman, I was lucky enough to become really good friends with a junior who hung out with a lot of seniors. So I had it good with, like, a lot of seniors having my back. I was a drama kid because I took drama classes, and so I hung out with a lot of the drama kids. I hung out with the anime group, like the kids that all watched anime and talked about anime, because I was into anime when I was in high school. I had my own personal group of ruffians that I hung out with, and we couldn't be declared as any one particular group. I hung out with some goth kids. I hung out with some druggy kids. I spent a lot of time with a lot of different kinds of ladies, skipping classes with said ladies for obvious reasons. I went through a period of time where I was drinking on campus a lot, which was not good. That was because I was dating a girl who was going through some really rough depression. I remember this girl that I was dating for a while, she had a family member die, and she was dealing with it so rough, and so she would come to school with alcohol and get wasted on campus, and because I was dating her at the time, I would get drunk with her, and I would just bring alcohol on campus, and me and her would run off and get drunk together, and so I would drink on campus, which was not good. And we used to have a nickname. We used to call it Donkey Water. So, like, my friends would see me with a water bottle full of vodka, and they'd be like, yo, Mike, you sipping that donkey water today? And I'd be like, yeah, man, you want some? They're like, not today, bro, maybe tomorrow. And I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go get wasted. You know, it was bad, but I was not a good kid in high school. I really was not. Let's see here. Des says, I went to college classes for the majority of my final year of high school. Oh, okay. So you were a pretty smart dude in high school then. Not bad, man. Zeus says, same. I was a running start program. Okay, I see. So you're talking to Des. Like being able to do the college courses. That's pretty cool. No such luck for me. I had to drop out of high school junior year that's another interesting story that I will tell later because I actually have to wrap up this stream. But I had to drop out of high school in junior year, and then I joined a homeschooling program. And because of that homeschooling program, I graduated on time, which is also a pretty interesting story. Let's see. My final 2 years in high school, says Lettuce, was AP classes and ROTC. Zeus says, so glad I got out of high school. It was so toxic, plus everyone was high, so my weed allergy flared up a lot there. Helver Gamers says, Habanero, I have so many things to say, and I'm sitting here playing a game with the wife, so I can't chat. AFK till the next time we chat on Discord. All right, homie. Yeah, hit me up sometime. We'll do it like the old days, you know? We'll do it like the old days, and I think you know what I'm talking about. Lettuce says, believe it or not, I was the only cadet in my school to reach cadet colonel before the honors, right before graduation, and was a battalion commander for 2 semesters. Wow. I definitely had a couple of guys that I hung out with who were also involved in military-based programs while I was friends with them in high school. Maz says I was a cheerleader. I dated a cheerleader when I was in high school. In my high school days, and was the class clown. I was a class clown, and I dated a cheerleader, Maz. I think if you and me knew each other in high school, to say the very least, we probably would have been very good friends. Cindy says, high school was horrible. Halfway through, my grandmother raised me, passed away. Depression had hit me then. I was on the streets 4 months later as mom, and we were never on good terms. So I'm sorry to hear that, Cindy, and I do kind of recall you telling me about that once, and I'm sorry to hear that, buddy, but I'd say that you, going through that, I'd say you came out a better and more powerful person, buddy, and you should never forget that, okay? And, like, I'm glad to have you as my friend, too, like, you know, and if things were different, who knows? We might not have known each other, you know, so I think you turned out to be a really good dude, Cindy. Ratherwood says, oh my god, that phase where I took shots at Jack before school. Ah, Wrath of Wood, all up in the donkey water like Mr. Hobbs over here, huh? Okay, all right. Wrath of Wood, you and me probably would have been good friends in high school as well. Rebecca says, what branch for ROTC at Lettuce? And Lettuce says Army JROTC. Interesting. Zeus says, I was the poor nerd among rich nerds. Okay, all right. That's not so bad all the time. At least, you know, sometimes it's good to have that perspective of what it's like on the rougher side, you know? But it sounds like you worked really hard to get where you are, so I wouldn't be worried about the whole poor part, because, you know, that's not going to stay that way forever, obviously. I assume it's hopefully not anymore. And if it is, it's okay. It's all good. Rebecca says, I did Navy JROTC for the first 3 years to Lettuce. That's interesting. A lot of military-involved people for high school here. Almost went into Air Force ROTC in college, except for my recruiter blowing my scholarship application. That doesn't sound like a very responsible thing for a recruiter to do, especially not one that works for what I assume is a government-oriented force. I mean, I don't know. That's weird. Matt says, I never drank at school, but binged on the weekends. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I went to a lot of parties and got wasted, and I also would get wasted on campus, so I was not a good kid. Cindy says, thank you, Habbo. Yeah, I look back on the time on the streets and where I am today, and it was a long way, but last 4 years, we almost lost it all with the little one and stuff. Yeah, man, well, you just gotta reflect on it and realize that things are working out, buddy. Zeus says, I got super lucky because my inheritance from my great-grandpa is entirely... There you go! I mean, it sucks that you lost your grandpa, but, I mean, hey! Like, you know, that... At least he's there for you even though he's gone, you know? And that's kind of a good thing, you know? It's not so bad. Alright, guys, I do have to wrap this up. We've been going a little overtime, but I kind of needed this. I liked being able to chat with you guys, and it was very therapeutic for me, which I very much needed, so... Because it's been a weird day for me. This whole week has been really weird, and I was really glad that I got the chance to kind of talk to you guys about what's been going on, and, like, if I seem kind of moody or weird or whatever, I've just been going through a lot of things, and I've been having to kind of, you know, keep track of what's going on the channel and make changes based on the direction my channel's going. So, you know, it's all good, and I appreciate you guys having my back because you guys are wonderful, and I love spending time with you guys. Because if I didn't love spending time with you guys, I wouldn't be doing this right here, right in front of you, clearly. So, I'm going to say all my wonderful things that I always say, guys, which is like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Helps me out. It really does. I know most of you guys already are doing everything you can to help me out, and I super appreciate it. But anybody who might be new, go ahead and do those wonderful things. They really do help me out, and I appreciate that. And also check in the description below for all my lovely links. I have some donation links. There's a Streamlabs link, which has little pop-ups during my streams. There's a subtle PayPal link. And I also want to give a special shout out to my wonderful Patreon members, who are absolutely totally amazing and wonderful to me, such as the beautiful ya boy Lettuce, who is in the chat log right now, Bo Falcon, who was in the chat log earlier. He might still be lurking, I don't know, he's a good dude. Fajouk, who was also in earlier, but he had to dip out. And also James P, who, even though I know is not in here right now, he usually likes to watch my stuff on the backlog. In that case, hi James P! And also the beautiful, wonderful Rebecca, who I know for a fact is in here hanging out with us, being amazing and beautiful. So thank you all my wonderful Patreon members. You guys do such amazing things for me. You guys send me money, help me make my content, give me advice. You guys are there for me all the time. You guys send me donations. You guys send me games. My Patreon members are very, very cool and wonderful people, and I super appreciate you guys. And you know what? This is this is a shout out to my Patreon members, but it's also a shout out to all the people who come in here and hang out with me in general. You're all very wonderful people, and I want you guys to remember that I really love having you guys and spending time with you guys, and you know, having you guys around is the reason why I can come on here and talk about this stuff with you guys. So thanks so much, okay? You guys have a great night, and follow your dreams, okay? You guys follow your dreams. I know you guys can do it. I'll see you guys later, okay? Good night, guys. Have a great night. Take it easy. Things are going to change, but things are going to change for the better, okay? Good night. Ah, good night. Good night, everybody. You're all wonderful. Good night. Good night.